sushi from my favorite sushi place in the world. If you ever come to LA and if you like sushi, Sugarfish is it. It's controversial. Some people are like, I don't like it, but most people are like, it's delicious. Smart people think it's delicious. Getting it delivery, not always the best choice, but this is what like a typical order looks like. This is for Eric, and that's all that it comes with. And it shows you like how to prepare it. So cute. So then I've eaten here so many times because it's my favorite sushi place that I know what I like. And what I like is the albacore, and I like the salmon. The way they prepare it there is just elite, so good. And I would never order sushi like nigiri style. Is this nigiri or is this sushi?
Sashimi.
Is it sashimi or nigiri?
Yep.
I think it's nigiri. I think nigiri is when it's on the rice and sashimi is when it's just the fish.
Yeah.
And sushi rolls are the sushi rolls. So anyway, I like it when it's just the fish on the rice, but I would only order this from Sugarfish. I've ordered it from lots of other places and it's the only place. Wait, I didn't get any soy sauce. Oh wait, you don't use soy sauce, that's fine. Dang. It's so good, guys, you have no idea. They didn't give it to me because they don't recommend it. They like tell you very specifically how you're supposed to eat their fish. Anyway, ponzu goes on the albacore. You can also put a little green scallion, a green onion. They have wasabi and ginger and all that, but I usually don't use that. I'm very excited. Ponzu sauce on my skinless fingers. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Cheers. Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. Not as good as when you get it like fresh there. It's still very good. I love this place, but we can never go because it's kind of far from us and there's always a really long wait and they don't deliver. Okay, now the salmon. Beautiful salmon. So good. Not as good as when you get it fresh there, I gotta say, but it's still good. I think this video is probably just gonna be like an unboxing video because I unboxed my sushi and I'm gonna unbox some packages right now. And I know I have groceries coming soon that I'm excited about. And then I'm gonna show you guys my groceries because I did that once a long time ago and all the comments were like, show us your groceries more often, which I thought was interesting. Here we go. She doesn't wanna sit, so she's gonna stand while we open packages. Funny, you gonna help me open packages or are you busy?
No, but I first have to keep rolling my
Oh, because it's something for making.
For you.
This is for me?
Yeah.
Lynn, this is beautiful.
Or you can have this then.
Oh, thank you. It's missing the lid, which is a little dangerous, but that's okay.
Shoes.
What kind of shoes? I think they're fancy running shoes for super fast running.
Yellow shoes.
Gotta show these to Daddy. He's gonna love them.
They're cute.
They are cute. Diapers! I have so many packages, Flynn.
Yeah.
Why do you have so many packages?
I don't know.
This is for my live show, and this is for the Miranda show. Okay, let's see what's in this one. What could it be?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe it's a cat?
I don't know.
Ooh, some new sippy cups. Oh, we gotta test this out. I have a new idea for the show. New bottle brushes, because the ones that I have are gross. All right, if this does not interest you to see what I got from the grocery store, you can just fast forward. Ugh. Maisie's gonna help me. Some bread, because I might make a Greek salad tonight, and I like to make my own croutons. I got some pretzel sticks, because what is dripping? Something's dripping. Anyway, pretzel sticks, because I have an idea for like a bug charcuterie board for Flynn. I got a bunch of fruit for the charcuterie board thing. Obviously it's not a real charcuterie board, it's gonna be fruits and veggies. Apples, bell pepper and cucumbers in case I do that Greek salad, and some celery for the charcuterie board. Popcorn cheese balls. I don't know if those are gonna be any good, but Flynn might like them. Pea snaps, you wanna look at pea snaps? Plantain chips. I love these. This was a big craving for when I was pregnant with the twins in the first trimester. Dark chocolate biscuit things. Also with my pregnancy that I lost, had miscarriage, I was obsessed with these and craving these, and then with the twins, again, I was craving these. Bunny, chewy snack thingies. Cream of chicken in case I make my casserole tonight. My midnight snack of choice these days. Avocados. What happened here? Why? It seems like someone dumped an entire bucket of water on the counter. Carrots and tomatoes. This little broccoli, little thingies. Corn dogs, these are for me. Yogurt, sour cream, lots of cheese. Feta for a Greek salad. Little baby foods. You wanna hold that? String cheese and biscuits. And a rotisserie chicken, because I think I'm doing my casserole. So I'm gonna do this because it's easier than making chicken from scratch. I don't know what that mystery bunch of water was, but my counter and floors are soaking wet. That's all she wrote, guys. So those are my groceries. I'm very excited about my charcuterie board for Flynn, so I'll show you guys that when I make it. So there you go. Do you still like watching me open groceries? Okay. Okay, guys, I'm insane, and I made a snack for Flynn that he's definitely not gonna eat. Christina's here.
Oh, hi.
I made him a bug snack charcuterie board. So this is what I've done. It took so long, and it doesn't look anything like what I thought it was going to look like, and he's not going to eat it. But let's give it to him anyway. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Here it comes. Here it comes. What do you think?
It's my favorite.
What is it?
It's my favorite.
It's a bunch of bugs.
It's a bunch of bugs. Thank you, Mommy.
You're welcome. You're gonna eat the spider one, Flynn? You gonna try it? Whoa, what do you think of that?
Whoa.
Interesting.
You're eating bugs like a lizard?
I was gonna film the process of this. I thought I'd have way more bugs made. It took so long, but it looks cute, but I don't recommend. I feel like it's just easier to just do like, what's it called? Ants on a log, when you just put raisins on celery sticks and peanut butter.
It's delicious.
It's delicious and easier, but Flynn likes it. Do you like eating your spider? Oh yeah, baby. Hi, everybody. So my friend Christina's in town. She has a work thing tomorrow in LA. She lives in Santa Barbara. So she's staying the night tonight, which is so fun. I've known her since I was 11. We've been besties for literally decades. I love her. And so anyway, it's been so nice to have her here. And she made us dinner. She made us tacos, and it was delish. So I've just spent the evening kind of hanging out with her. So I didn't vlog anything else, but I was reading through the comments on my last vlog, and I wanted to talk about a couple of them. But first I need to put a new battery in my camera. So one of the top comments on my vlog that I posted from yesterday is from Sarah, and she says, Tortilla Talk question. I've recently been diagnosed with ADHD and a BFRB after having it for all my life and never knowing. I found that to be really difficult, and I know you've talked about your struggles with ADHD and dermatillomania, so I'm just wondering how you felt when you were first diagnosed. Did you find it really validating or really overwhelming? Because I'm experiencing both and don't know how to cope. First of all, there are people responding to her and giving great answers, better than I could ever give. If you struggle with these things, the responses to that comment actually are wonderful, so I highly recommend reading them. But if you want to hear me talk about it, keep listening, and if you don't, you click off this video, because I'm probably just gonna be talking about that for a minute, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I just have to say before I say anything, I'm not a doctor, I'm an idiot, and I don't know anything about anything, so don't take my advice. Talk to a doctor or a therapist about your issues, but this is just me and my experiences. So first I was diagnosed with a BFRB, my skin picking disorder, dermatillomania, and that is something that I have always struggled with kind of, but it got really bad during postpartum with Flynn. When I got diagnosed with dermatillomania, I never felt a sense of relief or like validation or any of that. I was not excited about it. I was sad. I mean, it was interesting to find out that it was a thing, because I was always just kind of made fun of for picking at my skin, or people like, oh, stop that, and just kind of like swat at me to stop. It was, I guess, sort of validating to know that there was an actual condition, a disorder, if you will, that explained my behavior. But I didn't feel I got any answers, because one, there's not a lot of research on dermatillomania. There's not a lot of help for it. So it wasn't that exciting to be diagnosed with that, because I just kind of felt like it left me with more questions. By the way, this is gonna be a really boring conversation if you aren't interested in the things I'm talking about. Like, I'm literally just gonna be talking about my dermatillomania and ADHD, so just don't watch the rest if that's not interesting to you, because this is about to be very boring. Anyway, when I found out I had dermatillomania, the first doctor who told me that yes, I had dermatillomania told me I also had OCD. This doctor diagnosed me with OCD and said, you know, you need medication for OCD. This doctor barely knew me. He was just like, oh, that's dermatillomania. Yeah, I know what that is. And you have OCD, so you need medication, but didn't know anything about me and my life and my history, and just said I had OCD and wanted to give me medication for it. And I was like, wait, what? And that was shocking to me. And so I was like, oh, I have OCD, so I need to look into OCD. So I started researching OCD, and there were some things with it that like I related to and I understood. And I think I even talked about it in vlogs, like, oh, this is an OCD thing. And I didn't relate to most of the things with OCD, and it didn't explain a lot of my feelings and behaviors and stuff like that. So I was very confused. I was left very confused. I was struggling with a lot of depression and anxiety and the skin picking, just very specific, strange or odd behaviors that like I didn't recognize in the other people around me in my life, that couldn't be explained by anything. Like not being able to make eye contact with people. That's something I really struggle with. Like near impossible for me to make eye contact with someone. Like if I'm talking to you, I'll look like right to the left of your face. I can remember back in high school talking to people and people going like, what are you looking at? You looking over there? What's over there, Colleen? See a ghost? Because I wouldn't look at people in the face. I was always called over emotional, and I was always called like a ditz or a klutz klutz, forgetful. Oh, Colleen never knows where her license is. Oh, Colleen, oh, she loses everything. Don't hand anything to Colleen, she'll lose it. These things were just, they were always a part of me, these little things. But then as I got older and went through postpartum, and it really brought out anxiety and depression, all these fun things, especially being pregnant with Flynn, the depression, I just felt like I had all of these little things and they all made me, but like they couldn't all be explained. I was like, I can't, it was very overwhelming to be like, okay, I have depression and I have anxiety and I have these weird little quirks, like not being able to make eye contact, and my brain can't pay attention when people are talking to me. I can't focus. I can't sit and just do one thing. There are times where I get like overwhelmed by everything and I like kind of hibernate and can't get off the bed, out of bed, or can't get off the couch and just have to lay there and look at my phone for like hours and hours and hours and hours. And I even though my brain's screaming at me to get up, I can't. And then to add on top of it OCD, I was like, and I have OCD. Oh my God. So I was really sad when I got diagnosed with OCD, because not because it was OCD, there's nothing wrong with having OCD, but because it didn't explain all the other things. So it just felt like it was tacking on another thing that was like wrong with me. Not that there's anything wrong with people with OCD, you know what I'm saying? And I was diagnosed with it. I don't know if I actually have OCD or not. I just know that I was diagnosed with it at one time and I didn't feel like it really made sense with me, but I don't know. Anyway, when I finally got diagnosed with ADHD, it was because I was talking to doctors trying to figure out my dermatillomania, because I was in therapy and working hard to fix my dermatillomania, my skin picking, because it was severely impacting my life, impacting my relationships, impacting my livelihood, impacting my depression. My literal physical ability to walk was impaired. I couldn't go on walks with my husband because my feet hurt too bad because there was no skin on them. I had band-aids on all my fingers and my fingers were all ripped open. So like I didn't want to go into any social situations out of fear that someone would notice that and comment on it. Or if I got into a picking episode while I was in public, someone would comment on it and I would get embarrassed. So like it was very heavily impacting my life negatively. So I was trying to get as much help for this as I could. You know, my therapist thought I had OCD and so was trying to help me using tactics with OCD and like kind of focusing the therapy on that, but it wasn't working. And I talked to another doctor. I was talking to them about my dermatillomania and the doctor was like, well, when did this start? Like, when did you start doing this? And I was telling him, you know, it was like in my pubescent era of life, like prepubescent, like early teens is when I started picking as far as I can remember. And we were trying to figure out in therapy the first time I picked and what traumatic thing happened in my life at that time. And there wasn't a traumatic event that surrounded it. It was just, I just started doing it. And so we were really focused on like, we have to remember this traumatic thing, but there wasn't a traumatic thing. It was just something that I do. And so that was really frustrating for me in therapy. So when this doctor was like, it's very common for girls with ADHD to have their hyperactivity come out in different ways than what we're used to seeing. The doctor was like, I'm sure you've heard of like little boys when they get super hyper, it's this hyperactivity, but for girls a lot of times the hyperactivity and ADHD comes out in different ways. So a lot of women who have ADHD end up with some sort of body focused repetitive behavior because it comes out that way, because girls are taught to, you know, behave a little bit more than boys are, because boys will be boys, but girls make sure to stay well behaved. So I didn't want to act out, so I would pick at my fingers. That's kind of how it started for me. You know, he said that was pretty common, and that was like, I was like, oh, that made so much more sense to me than like this is linked to some traumatic event, because I knew that it wasn't. And he said it usually happens in the early teens time, like puberty time is when this would happen for girls with ADHD. You know, he's like, it can come out in skin picking or hair pulling or nail biting or fidgeting with something, just some sort of hyperactivity habit forms. So anyway, ADHD explained my dermatillomania, and it finally made sense to me why I picked. I didn't understand ADHD. I didn't understand why I was picking. And so to have someone explain to me why I was picking my skin was because of how my brain works and the dopamine levels and what I was craving and where there was an imbalance, and that there's this hyperactivity and I needed to get that energy out, and that's where I focused. It finally made sense why I do it. That was a huge relief. But then with talking to my doctors and talking to my therapist and doing research, I realized that ADHD explained everything. All the things I was listing earlier where I was like, oh my God, but I have depression, I have anxiety, and I have this thing, and I have this thing, and I have all these things that like I feel like are different about me that make no sense, and I don't understand why I do them. There was finally something that explained all of the things. So when I was diagnosed with ADHD and I really understood what it meant and what all that goes into ADHD, it was like I could breathe. It felt like I felt very overwhelmed by all the things that were affecting me negatively in my life. life. Like I felt like all this stuff was like piling on top of me. And then it made it feel so much better when I could just hold it all in one hand. Oh, it's just ADHD. As opposed to like, it's all this stuff piling down on me, I can't handle it. It was like, oh no, it's ADHD and it's making all these other things happen. The depression was linked to it. The anxiety was linked to it. The not making eye contact was linked to it. My social weirdness was linked to it. My weird relationship with food. There's so many little things like that that I didn't realize were connected to ADHD. Not being able to pay attention when someone's talking to me, listening to everything going on in the room. If there's multiple conversations happening in the room, I can hear every single one and I'm listening to every single one except for the one that is happening in front of my face. It explained why I was a good student in school, because I was very creative and I was motivated by pressure and I was motivated by stress and creativity. So I went above and beyond to be creative in school to like make good grades, but I was horrible at taking tests because I had a really hard time with memory and paying attention to what the teacher was saying. I couldn't listen. I can't read books. Like reading, I have to read a page like 20 times before I process even half of the information. Reading has always been very hard for me. So like all these things that I've always struggled with, that I didn't understand why I couldn't do it and everyone else around me could. And it was so frustrating. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I didn't find out until I was an adult woman that it was all linked to ADHD. It made me feel so much better. Like, so I looked at it differently after that. It wasn't like, oh, there's all these things wrong with me. It was, oh no, I have ADHD. And these are things that I can work on. And now I know how to work on them because I know what the issue is. So if I know what the issue is, I can get the right treatment for it so that I can improve these things in my life. Getting the ADHD diagnosis wasn't like, oh, well, now I have an excuse for all the things I do that are different and weird. It was, now I know how to adjust and try to improve my life in the areas that are difficult because I know what the cause is. Oh my God, I've been rambling forever and I could ramble for 20 more hours about this. By the way, I'm a proud ADHDer. I actually really love and appreciate my ADHD for so many reasons, because I feel like it is the reason I am where I am in my life and my career, because I am driven and motivated by stress, doing a million things at once. Like all of those things have made it so that I can do what I do. So I wouldn't wish to not have ADHD. However, there are a few things with ADHD that I don't like and that I'm working on. But I think one of the biggest things for me that causes the most issues in my life is rejection sensitive dysphoria. This is the worst. And I never knew what it was until my therapist told me about it. And I was explaining how I feel about how I always think everyone's upset with me and everyone hates me, and that the thought of upsetting someone destroys me. The thought of someone not liking me makes me devastated, and like I just want everyone to be happy all the time, and I get stressed if anyone's upset, and I blame myself if anyone's upset about anything. It doesn't matter if I'm even involved. If someone is upset and I can't fix it, I beat myself up, and I just think everyone's mad at me and doesn't like me all the time. I make up stories in my head, like if someone doesn't text me back right away, I'm like, they hate me, they're mad at me. Why are they mad at me? What did I do wrong? I did something wrong because they're obviously mad at me. Anyway, so when she explained rejection sensitive dysphoria to me, I was like, oh my God. And this oftentimes comes with ADHD. So this is probably the thing that like has caused the most issues for me. So I'm gonna read you something that I found about this because it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'll explain it wrong, but you can look it up if you want to know more information about it. But rejection sensitive dysphoria is an extreme emotional pain triggered by the perception, real or imagined, of being rejected, teased, or criticized, followed by the feeling of being a disappointment to others and a failure to oneself. Rejection sensitive dysphoria is overlooked as being a part of ADHD and often the most debilitating and paralyzing aspect of ADHD. It results in poor self-esteem, poor self-worth, a gateway to self-harm, self-sabotage, damaging self-deprecating thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and may lead to feelings of resentment, trying to be someone that people in your life want you to be. So this is me to a T. That sounds like someone just talking about me. And that is one of the biggest things I've struggled with my whole life. And I just beat myself up about this. I can't even explain how much this has affected me and is a big cause for my depression and that I've struggled with in the past, and a huge cause of my anxiety. So anyway, it's all linked to ADHD. So to answer your question, oh my God, I've been talking so long, I apologize. So your question was, when I was first diagnosed, did I find it really validating or really overwhelming? Because you're experiencing both and you don't know how to cope. I found it both. It was very validating to be diagnosed with ADHD, but very overwhelming to realize that there was something that explained everything in my life that I had always been confused about. So it was definitely both. But just know it's so wonderful to get that diagnosis, because now if you get the right therapist and doctors involved, you will be given the tools to be able to live a little bit of an easier life living with this. Because before I knew it was ADHD, I was just like, well, it's because I'm an idiot. I can't look people in the eyes because I'm weird. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm weird. I wasn't a good test taker in school because I wasn't smart enough. I couldn't read a book, couldn't finish a book on a page because I wasn't smart enough. I was dumb. I was feeling sad and thinking everyone hated me because I was weak and stupid and because everyone did hate me. These are all things that I thought. And then when I found out I had ADHD, I was like, oh, maybe I wasn't dumb. Maybe I just learned differently than everybody else. Maybe I'm not stupid. Maybe my brain just functions a different way than other people. Just know that it is overwhelming, and it was overwhelming for me too, but it's a good thing because now you'll be given the tools to be able to live with the things that are hard, and now you can really appreciate and let flourish the things that ADHD does for you in a positive way. I'm sure you're super creative. I'm sure that you're super passionate. You know, these are wonderful things that come with ADHD. I'm sure you could focus on a million tasks at once. I'm sure you like new projects. These are all like fun things that are awesome about ADHD. So you can focus on the great things about it, and the things that are impacting your life negatively. Now you know what the root cause is, and you can find professionals who can help you to fix those challenges in your life. So that's how I feel about it. And I just talked way too much. That was so long and boring, so I apologize. But I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna stop talking about this, or I'll talk about it forever because it's fascinating to me. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Bye.
You can relax. Colleen and Eric have a podcast. The world is scary and we're locked in our home, but now we have big microphones, so you can relax. That's the name of our podcast.